Okay, we're going to start on solving one-step equations. Okay, so when you're solving one-step equations, you still need to remember your order of operations because what we're doing now is we are going backwards. So if we have like 4x equals 32, that is a one-step equation. You need to know what is going on between the 4 and the x. There's no sign, so it's understood multiplication. When we are solving any equation, you're always thinking about the inverse operation. So what undoes another operation? So if we are multiplying, division undoes it. If we are dividing, multiplication undoes it. If we are adding, then the inverse operation is subtracting. And if we are subtracting, then the inverse operation is adding. Okay, so you need to remember that. So right now we are multiplying by 4. I'm just going to make a little note here that I am multiplying by 4. The number does not change. It is the operation that changes. So to undo it, I need to divide both sides by 4. So remember, what we do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other. I do like to draw the line over the equal sign so that way you know that this is a side and this is a side. So if you add 3 over here, then you have to add 3 over here. Okay, so I'm going to divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 gives me the 1 that I'm looking for. So now I have x equals 8. Check your work by plugging it back in. So 4 times x, which is 8, I think, equals 32. And I get 32 to equal 32. It checks. If we have a negative, so negative 5x equals 40. Okay, so if we have a negative, then you need to ask yourself what is happening between the variable that you're trying to get by itself and the negative 5. Well, there isn't a sign there, so it is multiplication. So right now I am multiplying by negative 5, so I need to divide by negative 5. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. The negatives cancel each other out, so I'm left with x equals a negative 8. If you don't divide by a negative, which is a very common error, if you don't divide by a negative and you divide both sides by 5 instead, look what happens. The 5's cancel each other out, but you still have this negative hanging out there. So then you would end up in the next step of having negative x equals 8. We cannot stop with a negative variable, so you'd have to go one more step and divide or multiply both sides by a negative 1, and you're right back to x equals negative 8. So that is with multiplying and dividing. For adding and subtracting, if you have x plus 5 equals 12,